Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts, like the chart behind me, which is of Lucid Motors, ticker symbol LCID. And I will also be going over Polestar, ticker symbol PSNY, which is the ticker that I will start with in this video. And so I'm just doing a follow-up from last Saturday's video on these two tickers. Both were behaving similarly in this, falling wedge pattern, but they've kind of started to do something different over the past week, which I think is pretty exciting, especially because you can see that there have been a number of green candles for Polestar over the past week. And so what I went over in the last video with Polestar is that I said that I expected price to come down to right around $1.56.6, this Fibonacci retracement, which is the 161.8% retracement from the low of October 30th to the high of December 15th. You can see this line there, that retracement there. And so I expected price to come down to that level, or approximately $1.55, marked by this green line that I have drawn here. So really, I expected price to come down to, right around $1.55 to $1.60. And so the low that we saw during the week on January 16th was, let's see, $1.59. And that happened to be a pretty nice bounce. Looks like we see this pretty big, spinning top there, suggesting a reversal with the big candle coming down the day before and the big green candle coming the day after. And so that's exactly what we saw. If we look at the weekly time frame, this candle looks like, let's see, the range was a 22% increase. So beginning the week at $1.68 and closing the week at $2.05. So just over $2, which I had suggested would be a significant level of resistance. And I have to say, it is somewhat unfortunate that it did close above $2. I had sold a covered call at the strike of $2, closed in the money. So I lost out on about $4. Not a big deal. I did just put out a video on Fisker going over how to sell covered calls, so you could check that out if you're interested. But what I see is that $2 is still going to be a pretty significant level. If we look at the volume profile and just zoom out a little bit, it does look like there's a lot of consolidation just above $2. So, while I do think the candle does look really strong on the close of Friday, January 19th. It looks like we got a close at 205, and the high was also 205. So that could suggest a continuation into Monday, starting next week. However, in the after hours, we did see a little bit of a dip. It looks like it's now currently, as I record this, after the after hours have closed at a price of $2.03, so coming down just about 8%. Which is, not really that bad considering it went up more than 6% on the day of Friday. So there is a lot of strength there. However, if we do switch back to the weekly chart, we can see that we did not get a bullish engulfing candle from last week's candle, which showed a nearly 20% drop over the course of the week. So we do see a close lower than last week's open. So in my opinion, that does suggest that we might be seeing a little bit of a pullback and likely some consolidation around $2. So I do feel like there is still an opportunity to pick up some shares below $2, but that might be short-lived because I do think that with the close at the same price as the high, there's a good amount of strength in the chart. However, if we do look at the RSI, it does look like, it is getting into kind of neutral territory right around 48. So we might see a little bit of a cool off. And I do think we will see consolidation at around or perhaps just below $2 a share because we do see all of this big volume shelf here, this consolidation over here. And so it's going to be tough for price to hold above that. But if price is able to run, I do think that this orange line 217, I think it will be able to blow past that. And if it can get to around, let's see, 225, where we see the top of this volume shelf, I do think price will be able to hold up there, and that could start to act as notable support. for continuation higher, like to this yellow line at $2.50. And before I switch over to Lucid, I do just want to pull up the max pain, which for next month, unfortunately, Polestar only has monthly contracts. So the max pain for next month, closing the week that ends on February 16th. So that Friday, max pain is $2.50. So that does suggest that price will be continuing higher, and that, a month from now, we'll likely see price, in my opinion, hanging out around 225, that acting as support before being able to break above 250. So, we will have to wait and see. But now switching over to the Lucid chart, as we can see, comparing with the Polestar chart, both have this series of red candles coming down. Polestar took off last week, whereas Lucid actually continued lower, breaking below the wedge. And I do want to note that I did adjust the bottom of that wedge. I adjusted the second pivot point to be the low of, let's see, November 10th, and that also coincides with this Fibonacci retracement that I did. And so that, makes this line correspond better with the price. We're not so much lower than that line now. However, we are still lower than it, so that is potentially bearish. So keep that in mind. However, with this Fibonacci retracement to the 1618 at a price of $2.57.6, we did kiss that multiple days on January 18th and 19th, so Thursday and Friday. We did get tails from these candles coming down, and it does look like with the green candle for Friday, January 19th, closing at $2.71, going up a little over 2% on the day. This spinning top could suggest that, we have arrived at the bottom and we might be seeing a reversal. Also, I do think that, seeing two tails hit that Fibonacci level could really suggest that is acting as support. And I do also, I don't know that I had this line drawn at $2.80, suggesting last Saturday that price would come down to that level after having broken below $3, closing last week, I believe, at $3.05. And so, now that price has gotten down below $2.80, having hit that Fibonacci level, looking like we are observing this spinning top that just happened, that could suggest a reversal. And perhaps, over the course of next week with Lucid, we will be seeing exactly what happened with Polestar, start to see a reversal from this spinning top and a big move to the upside. And so with Polestar closing above $2 like that, closing at $2.05 for last week, Lucid getting back to that red line would be at a price of $4. And so I do think that is, a great target to be keeping in mind, especially because we see this volume shelf above that. There's going to be resistance above that level. However, if we do look over at the max pain for Lucid for next week, Lucid does have weekly contracts. So closing next week on January 26th, so that's the Friday, max pain is $3. So while not $4 at this red line, that would be $3, which I believe corresponds with, this white line that I have drawn here. I don't really see any notable resistance above that. I don't really see it starting to pick up until we get to the low of November 10th, which would be around $3.60. You can start to see this volume shelf start to pick up there. And so, what I could see over the course of next week, especially seeing the RSI being below 30 at 22.32, I could definitely see a turnaround and the stock price start to make its way back up to $3. And if we do get a close for next week above $3, it's quite possible we could see a gamma squeeze and prices start to go back up to $4, where I do see a lot of resistance there, just like with Polestar, starting to see resistance at $2. So Polestar might consolidate there, while Lucid might start its run up to this key level of resistance at $4. But before we get there, $3. We got to check that off first. And I do think we will see that happening over the course of next week. But, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.